Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, there's just 318 days until Christmas 2022. Oh, and today we're going to talk all about the Book of Boba Fett. But before we do that, we have other things that I kind of got cut off on the Hasbro Pulse live stream just the other day. Me and Melon didn't get along very well. Melon and I, we were not playing well together. So the big reveal from that event was this vintage collection set that from Boba's Palace, and it's interchangeable. You can put Boba on there. You can remove Boba's throne, and you can put Jabba on there if you've got Jabba. It's a fantastic playset. It's huge. You come with the carded Bib Fortuna in there from the finale of Mando season 2, right before Boba Fett shot him. But it's $220, my friends. $220. I'm having a hard time with the price point. I desperately want it, but I'm not sure I can pull the trigger on that. So that goes up for pre-sale here today. That is up for pre-sale today. It doesn't come out until next summer, but I have to say I'm not sure I'm gonna pull the trigger on that. So I wanted to cover that right off the top, and then we yes, $220. That's just crazy. And by the way, I owe you guys some Mike Porter dad jokes. So first of all, I'm going to bring in my friend Imagic Maker. He's already here with us. Hey, Imagic Maker, how are you doing today?
Hey, Santa, I'm back once again.
Very good. You got $220 to buy this the set?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Oh, I'm getting an echo. So hold on one second. I'm going to just adjust this. Okay, I've got the echo cancellation on my side. So maybe it's just me. Hopefully they're not hearing the echo. If they are, let us know. And we'll see. TVC Mackin, are you buying this playset? I'm not sure I can. I'm just, that's so expensive. And we've got some home remodeling going on now. We've got all kinds of things going, and just to budget that much is kind of crazy. I'm not saying it's not worth it. It's fantastic. It's huge. It comes with a ton of accessories, the functionality, the detail, the quality is all there. But my goodness, woo, $220. $220, Ronnie. 220 US. 220 US. That's just it's kind of high. So and it's not a HasLab. It's going to hit shelves summer of 2023. I may have to wait.
I don't know. I think I can make my own diorama for that. I think it might be better too.
Well, I don't know about better.
I wouldn't have the figures, but I mean, I would have the diorama itself. If I could buy the figures separately, I think I could definitely make the diorama better. Honestly.
I don't know. And Astromech Jeremy, hey, thanks for the $10 super chat. I do want to talk about this. I saw it on Meg's Discord, but there's a couple other things we want to get to before we get to the Book of Boba Fett. And I will absolutely answer your super chat. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate the support. There's a couple other things just off the top that I think they're kind of topical and we need to address. Hey, Sheev the Wise is here. And I'm going to talk about Sheev too in just a moment. We'll talk about Sheev in just a moment. I saw this break today, Bespin Bulletin. It come across in our Discord. There's a mystery Star Wars series codenamed Grammar Rodeo, whatever that means. Bespin Bulletin, they're pretty good. Their track record's pretty good. Nobody's perfect, but they're up there. And so yeah, Ducky, you're not wrong there. 260, put a couple of blurgs in there. I'll buy 4. Oh my goodness. But this mystery series, we got news just a few days ago that they were working on a live action series based in the High Republic era that was going to be kid focused, like preteen coming of age kind of thing. Think Harry Potter, or think what Rick Riordan's novels on
The Lightning Thief.
Yeah, Lightning Thief, that kind of thing. So think along those terms, not like preschool age, but like young teens to 12 to 14 age kind of main characters who are doing all the things that adults screw up. So it's a classic kind of preteen, or early teen kind of young adult setting. I'm wondering if these aren't the same, but that's just my own speculation. What do you think? Any thoughts at all?
No, I mean, I think it's a genre that the Star Wars needs to be in all honesty. It's a high fantasy, sci-fi type of thing, so it's a place where they need to be.
Yeah, I agree. So look for more on this coming soon, and I suspect our friend Jason Ward over at MakingStarWars.net may cover more of this. He is more connected to this kind of information than I am, and so I'll be tuning in to hear Jason Ward and get his take on that. The next piece was this Obi-Wan poster. Have you seen this?
I have not seen the poster yet. I'm behind.
So there it is.
I see it for the first time.
There you go. This was released yesterday, right? Yesterday afternoon. There's a Disney investor call, which, by the way, went really well. They're making a ton of. Ronnie, we're going to address this too. I'll leave it. But this investor call came out, and profits, earnings are up. Subscribers almost more than 50% higher than they had forecast. So it's going really, really well. And in here, you've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi. It says original series, May 25th, only on Disney Plus. So we have a release date. Oh, thank you.
If I were to have guessed, that's when I would have said it would release, because that is the original release date for Star Wars.
It's a great one. And so there's something that came up yesterday on Jason Ward's MakingStarWars.net. I was going to the vet and to pick up the ashes from our ferret that we had to have put down, and I was listening to Jason Ward's show, and they mentioned that there's something in this poster that once seen, you cannot unsee. And and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you right now. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. Pac-Man. Oh, he's right there. He's like,
no.
What? It looks like Pac-Man. He's going waka 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 right beside Obi-Wan. I think Jason or somebody yesterday on his stream said all they need to do is make this Force Ghost Obi-Wan, so that the ghost could go. Right. I love it. I love it too much. Like I said,
no.
once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's there.
You're right. It's there.
No, I get it. It's there's like the clouds coming across all that, but that is brilliant. I love it so much. Now every time I see it, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, Pac-Man is chasing Obi-Wan across the deserts of Tatooine." There it is.
Tatooine. You gotta say it both that way.
Tatooine. So look, it's exciting. We finally got a release date, and now I need to bring this up as we get ready to. Oh, first of all, we got some Mike Porter. Oh, here we go. Jason just dropped an article a few moments ago about Vader episodes of Kenobi. Ooh, and look, Jason also shared, I think yesterday, day before, an article about all the actors who are going to be involved in making Vader happen through the series. So you've got of course Hayden, who's Anakin / Vader. Hayden's going to be in there, but we have voice actor, we have different things going through. So that's that's involved. So, and Jason, I don't know. Are you going to cover the Bestman Bulletin article that released this morning about the series that's filming? Let us know. Let us know. We'll tune in to see it. So, I have a bet with my friend Sheev the Wise, and the bet is this: if Boba Fett,
tell us about this bet.
Yes, if Boba Fett beat Cad Bane or killed Cad Bane, if Boba Fett killed Cad Bane, I'm supposed to put this Vader's lair as my background for an entire week of live streams. So, has it been confirmed that Cad Bane is dead, and should I have this as my background, or slow your roll? We're not sure. And no, Ronnie, not for a month. It was for a week. It was for a week. And the other half of the bet is if Cad Bane dies by, let's say, Fennec Shand, finishes him off, then that doesn't count. And then in that case, Sheev has to put this background on for an entire week of live streams. So the bet is on. We have stakes. We have real stakes. We've got skin in the game. Should this be my background or not? What do you think?
I think it should be your background. I think he's dead.
Oh, we have mixed opinions on this.
And here's the deal I think you make with Sheev. That if he turns out to not be dead, then Sheev owes you 2 weeks.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So, Sheev, I see you in the chat. I see you in the chat. Will you take those terms? Right. I could put this as my background, but if it turns out he's alive, you have a week of penance for me having to put that on there unjustified, right? And another week for losing the bet. Do you take the 2 week bet? We need to know. We need to know. Yes, this is what Sheev's saying. We wait for Monday when the behind the scenes stuff comes out, and if it's confirmed, then it's a month. Oh no!
Well, I think you agreed to the 2 weeks. Since you were asking for confirmation, then it becomes an additional week for you, and that way it's 2 weeks on both sides.
Oh, there you go. So there you go, Sheev. We'll do that. If it's confirmed Monday that he's dead, I'll take a 2 week, putting Vader's lair as my background. If it's not confirmed, or we learn later that he dies some other way. Well, no, I think we're better off if it's confirmed. I'll do this for a week. As per the bet. But if I do this for a week and then it's reversed, much like Maul falling down the shaft, cut in half, presumed dead, but later you find out that no, he's really alive, then it's 2 weeks of Sheev in the I like that a lot. So it says Darmok says it's presumed dead, so you have to go for it until confirmed otherwise. So I'm ready to go with that deal. Right? I'm ready to put this as my background. And then if it's confirmed otherwise, then Sheev has to do 2 weeks. All right, there you go. I'm ready to take that deal. I'll do that. I can't do it like on the fly right now, but I will do it for you, Sheev, tomorrow. I will start my 2 weeks or my 1 week. Oh no, my 1 week tomorrow on Friday, and then it'll go for the entire next week. I'll do it for a week and a day. How about that? We'll go Friday to Friday, an entire week of doing it, and you get a bonus, Sheev, because I am working on a deal to do a live stream with our friends over at the Main Gang, Al and Lavas. They have invited me to come and talk about the Book of Boba Fett. You get this in the background for my visit with the Main Gang. There you have it. So and I see I see Meg in the chat. Yes. And Jason, I agree. They telegraphed his life support functioning. I think, look, every time they telegraph something, they carry through with it. And I'm just saying I think he's still alive. But I'll take the deal. I'll go ahead and put this in my background. I'll do it right after our stream today. And then it'll stay on there for an entire week through next Friday. And then we'll switch it back. All right. So with that being said, what did you think
I'll
of
just
the
say
episode?
there's only one back to tank that we saw. That's all I'll say.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh, and I owe folks some Mike Porter dad jokes because I forgot it the other day, and then yesterday I got cut off. So we have two of them. So the first one. Why was the person known? Oh, we're going to have a visitor. Why was the person known as an elite mercenary and assassin hired?
Why?
Because she always finished what she started. Oh, like finished, finick. Get it? Oh. I love Mike Porter. And Mike's been taking care of his dad at the hospital. So, Mike, our thoughts and prayers are with you, my friend. And the second Mike Porter dad joke to make up for our missed dad jokes. What's the best thing about the little green guy with ears?
I don't know what.
Oh, he Grogu's on you. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. So, Book of Boba Fett. We're going to talk spoilers. If you guys haven't seen or whatnot, we're going to go into spoiler territory. The first one I wanted to bring up is this concept art. We came from, and Meg mentioned it yesterday, and I saw this come up on All New Nerds Discord. This came from Attack of the Clones. It was concept art for Attack of the Clones, but it never made it in. This is the big bad in in the show, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was quite a minute.
They were pretty cool. I like them. Yeah, I mean, when I saw them, I was like, oh, I think I've seen that before. And obviously we had our giant Droidicus.
Yes.
And I had a few issues with it, but I'll kind of wait to go into them.
Yeah, we'll get into the full episode. I just work through these photos here. The second,
but I do like them using concept art from old stuff and bringing it in. I think that's really good.
And look, if you're a prequels fan, that's just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's great. So we'll we'll pick up on some of the other stuff in a little bit. And you guys are hearing the workers in the background. We've got our HVAC guy here. We've got him upstairs working on drywall. They're finishing. Things are moving ahead. So yeah, you hear the dive bombers. So that's what's going on in the background. What are your overall thoughts on the finale? First of all,
well, you kind of know, but nobody else knows. I gave it a 6. I mean, the finale was better, but I mean, it was the overall series was a 6 out of 10, and I don't think the finale gave me everything that I don't think it was built up well enough for that to get the emotional oomph out of the finale. Yeah, I think that's my problem with the finale. I mean, and I'll go into some of that as we kind of break it down. I mean, I think overall, I don't think the sides seemed, capable enough. I don't think that the threat ever seemed anything that made me concerned or think that there was a lot of just general military planning for a war or a battle going on. It was very elementary, and so I'm not getting from this the critical mind that I think Boba Fett should be.
Yeah, I'll give my just for the episode. I loved it. I had a great time. It was entirely entertaining from beginning to end. It was a fun watch. And then as I was starting to see people's responses, reactions, and some of the criticisms, I was like, oh yeah, if I think about those things, it does cause some issues. But I still had fun, didn't I? And so I rewatched it last night with my wife, and you know what? I did enjoy it. I the second time I watched it, I enjoyed it maybe even a little bit more. It was just fun. I thought it was fun, and
Yeah, when we come in with Vega, we watch it. So I watched it for the first time last night. Everybody else is ahead of me. So I mean, it's Vega. We come in from karate. It's we're all jazzed up. We're pumped, and we're ready to see some physical combat. They're ready to show off what they can do and go, oh, I can do that too. The kids. And,
yeah,
and so we come in. They're all ready. And I mean, I'm not saying there weren't some enjoyable parts of it. I actually, on its own, was probably as far as the action was concerned, was a very enjoyable episode. I think the problem is, like I said, that there was just enough lacking that I didn't get the emotional oomph to push it up over into the aspects of something that could have been much better and just more than just an enjoyable episode, if that makes sense. It could have been much better in that sense. So I guess because of expectations and hoping that there was a little more to it, that we would get a little bit more, that it would not be more than just an action scene, which is really what all it was.
Yeah. So I'm having a hard time just organizing my thoughts because there's so many things to talk about.
Right.
Both within.
Well, let's talk about the things that are fun and enjoyable about this, and then let me critique it. How about that?
Okay. Well, and I want to give a quick shout out here to Brent. Thank you so much for mentioning the like button. If you guys could do the YouTube things, that helps the channel out a ton. We have great audience here. We get some fantastic interaction in the chat. And it's awesome. And YouTube loves all of that. But we don't get enough likes, we don't get enough shares, and we don't get enough comments after the fact. Many of you are doing all the good things, all of the wonderful things. But our subscriber count goes up and down, up and down. People, YouTube drops people out all the time. And I've been told by some of our channel subscribers who have to subscribe over and over again. That's what YouTube does, So
I wonder why it does that. I mean, it does. It seems like it happens to a lot of people. I mean, not just people on the, you hear the, commentators say, "Oh, it drops me." The ones that we know are pretty negative on certain things, and they claim that YouTube is against them, but it seems like it happens to just about everybody, and I wonder why.
Yeah, I think it's YouTube trying to make sure people are people. You know how you have to do the I'm not a bot thing,
I'm not a bot.
And so you have to tell. Yeah,
I'm a me bot.
You have to click the thing that says I'm not a robot, or you have to find all of the pictures that have a boat in it. You're like, I don't. All those kind of things. So I think every now and then
pick out the Santas.
Right there you go. And so every now and then I think YouTube just kind of drops people because it's not sure that those people are really intentionally subscribing. So it does a lot. It does that a lot, and it helps when you guys just make sure you're subscribed. That does a lot to help YouTube get the algorithm out. And if you can support us through joining as a member, that's even better. That's even better. So thank you all for that. So yeah, the things you enjoyed in the finale.
So yeah, let's start off from the whole thing. So I actually enjoyed. I guess the first time that I went woo was when Boba Fett and Din Djarin come flying in on their rocket packs to take on the Pikes, and so I enjoyed that aspect of things. there was so there was definitely some things on that whole with that I was like, oh yeah, and I was like, finally the Boba Fett I've been wanting to see, and so I enjoyed that series of attacks by those two, and I guess the thing that really got me laughing was when they both shot the pike as he was falling, and they just kept shooting him as he was going down.
Yeah, which two quick things. The Wall of Fame, we have 5 pages of it today, so I'll try to remember to switch pages every now and then to get through all of them. Santa didn't do so good. I only had 11, so many people.
Yeah, I didn't do well either, right? I'm shocked that I did as bad as I did.
Right, you got 10.
I know.
It was pretty weak. And Trev made the Wall of Fame. Good to see you. And I do want to give a shout out real quick to Josh Lucas over at Den of Nerds this morning. I thought he was doing a really good job of giving a balanced view of the season as a whole, the episode, the whole thing. I don't agree with everything that Josh does,
right?
But he really did give a good balanced view of that. And I've been having a very interesting back and forth with Thor Skywalker as well. Look, opinions are everywhere.
No, I think we all got them, and I think, I think that's, and of course that's what makes us all, I guess kind of Star Wars fans, the fact that we all can have these opinions about it, still love it, even when we disagree. Here's the funny thing is that, I think I'm going to find myself in more alignment in some ways with Thor Skywalker, surprise, since we're decent friends, but and we often think somewhat alike. But the aspect of I think in hindsight, what I disliked the most about the season was the inclusion of probably the 2 best episodes, which are the Din Djarin episodes, and not that I want to break down the whole season, but because we need to go through the episode. But I just find that interesting that I'm like, I wish we hadn't had those, and because it's taken away from what I really want to see. Not that I didn't like the episodes. I did like the episodes. And so it's one of those weird feelings that you have of like, oh, I really like that. I wish I didn't have them,
Yeah.
to make that statement, And I don't like to be in that position. But there's lots of different little things that are in this episode that are a lot of fun. And I just went through a couple of things. And then, of course, when he runs off to get the Rancor, that is hilariously fun. And I like the part where he goes, "Do it," and
yes.
he rips the head off the droid.
There was a lot of that was just a ton of fun. I do want to bring this up because I did mention Thor and sort of what precipitated that. And look, this is a little bit of a victory lap for Santa as well, because I saw this interview, more than a year ago, right?
Oh, we're bringing that up, huh?
We're going to bring this up.
Once again.
We're going to bring this up because Thor's review, he kind of mentioned that it was a Hail Mary, bring in Grogu. The bigwigs at Disney made him put in Grogu to sell merch, blah, 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 blah. And I just responded back to say, wait a second. There's an interview back in August of 2020 where we learned the outline for Din and Grogu's story, that directly from this interview. Jon Favreau based that off of Paper Moon. It was a big influence on it.
Right.
And when you watch Paper Moon and when you watch the Din and Grogu story, put it in those. I'll couch it in those terms, because I do think there are some points there to discuss. But when you watch Dan and Grogu's story, you watch Paper Moon, they follow the same kind of story beats. Right. And does that mean that John's a bad writer or lazy writer or anything like that? That's up for you guys to decide. I thought he did a good job of incorporating those story beats. Now,
does that mean George Lucas is a bad writer then? Because he based it off of Iron Fortress.
Right. It's kind of tough, and so I just really have. I'm just trying to clear the record to say this wasn't, corporate suits telling them, "Hey, we want Grogu back with Din." That was the plan
Right.
from the get-go. That was the
No,
plan
I mean,
before there was a plan.
I don't think I don't think necessarily. I mean, I heard that in this video too, talking about why did they bring him back and that kind of stuff. But um, I think that his main complaint is bringing him back so early. Like, it's not so much that he shouldn't come back or that we don't see him come back. I just think, like he says, is what happens if you didn't see this and you go into season 3 of The Mandalorian, and boom, there's Grogu. You're like, whoa, what happened? I thought we dropped him off, with Luke.
That's exactly
so
right.
I think that was more of his complaint, that we didn't have that development in the course of season 3 versus these 2 episodes that occurred inside the Book of Boba Fett. If I'm hearing him right, I would say that was more of his complaint, even though he kind of veers down this aspect of did the execs make him bring him back, and maybe to some degree is, hey, bring him back now is the aspect that was done, and so he incorporates that into it. I don't know, but I mean that's to me, that when I heard his complaints, that was more what I was hearing as opposed to him coming back at all.
And I will give a little bit of credence to that as well. Like, I understand that in your story beats, the next thing that has to happen, as soon as Grogu goes to his kind, the next thing that has to happen is Grogu leaves his kind to go back to his father figure. That's what the story is. And so when you put Din into this story the way you did, I understand why they did it. I also think that there's a valid criticism there to say, wait, it's in an entirely different show. What if you don't watch that and you pick up on Mando season 3? Well, I think you've set yourself up to have to do a little bit of a meanwhile, while you were away, here's what happened, and you're going to have to show that.
And honest truth is, as much as I love those episodes, that's my complaint, is that those episodes are here. I think these episodes shouldn't be here, in all honesty. I wanted more Boba Fett, and I wanted more. I would have rather have seen these episodes not be here and had more detail of a Boba Fett going from the hardcore killer and having a full grasp and understanding of our character coming to the position where he's at. I don't think we had enough of that, actually. I don't think Boba Fett was fully developed, and I think that's the problem. And so I want to see like I said, I told you, I think that Boba Fett really fits and was intended to fit a Clint Eastwood type character. And I would like to have seen the William Money from Unforgiven, who's really good at killing, who doesn't, by the end of it, doesn't want to do that. And so is pushed into a position where he has to, in order to maintain what he finds valuable. And I think the path they took him down, those Dances with Wolf path, with the Tuscans, would have been a great place to put him into where he starts to value something more than himself. And I don't think that was developed well. I mean, that's my personal opinion of that, and you might think they did, but I think there was a lot more that could have been developed in that, to where he goes from only caring about himself, only trying to get away, not giving a crap about anybody, to turning around and showing little bits of kindness through this whole thing that bring him out. And I think 2 more episodes were actually necessary to do that. I would have rather have had that than I would have had the Din Djarin episodes. And so I don't mean to be negative on those. They were great episodes. I loved them. I just wish that's kind of where we went,
Yeah, and I want to address this, but I don't want to forget Jeremy's super chat. A $10 super chat is a big deal, and thank you for that, Jeremy. I want to bring this back up because he caught something about the Peli and R2's exchange. R2 was rushed, and he mentioned being in a hurry. He said, "I wonder what we missed," and he brought that up. Maybe R2 needed to get back because he needed to take Luke to something else. And I think this goes along with what we're saying, is like there's an untold part of the story here that I think they need to go back and get.
Right.
And maybe that's what they'll do in Mando 3, is they'll go back and get that part. so that we can catch up. Like from the choice, we know the choice, but from the choice, what was the interaction, and why did Grogu come back in the X-wing alone? Why didn't Luke bring him back? Like all that. There's some criticisms out there, like, well, that's not very Luke-like to do that kind of thing. And I'm like, well, okay, but at the same time, we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know, and maybe that's a criticism of the show. It was 61-minute episode. Some of the decisions made in the episode, I get where people say this would have been better than that. We should have seen this instead of that. All of that kind of thing, and I think that's fine to say that kind of stuff. But look, the showrunners made the decisions they did.
No, I'm with you. I'm just if we're gonna critique the series and this finale, that's where I'm going. But I mean, there's like I said, there's a lot of things to enjoy about this finale. I mean, you have the Rancor steals the show a lot of it actually. I mean, the do it ripping his head off, the Rancor climbing up the tower and doing a King Kong. I mean, that was pretty darn funny.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
So that's pretty darn hilarious. And then of course, then we have Grogu also with his little parts of stealing the show, ripping the joint out of the droid, which was a lot of fun. And I actually thought it was a ball originally until I saw it stop, and I was like hoping that he just took a ball from the thing. It's like, oh, he's got a new ball, and then I saw it was a little joint piece. But I mean, that's kind of what I was hoping. I thought that'd be hilarious to watch him now go from the small ball to this new ball. But that was my thinking versus what they actually had, and so I actually was kind of excited about that scene until I realized that's not what it was. And I was like, oh, man.
Well, I want to go back to Ducky here saying it made Mando Season 2 anticlimactic by returning so quickly. That's the story beat, though, right? That was what they intentionally set out to do. So you have to go back and you have to look at Mando Season 1 and Season 2 through the lens of Paper Moon. You have to understand that it's not about the universe itself, or it's not about what's going on in the universe. It's about the relationship between the child and the father figure. And the whole purpose.
See, the thing is that so I'm actually going to kind of agree with Ducky Momo on this.
Well, let me finish my thought in just a sec, and then I'll let you expand on that. If you look at it through each of the encounters they go through, builds their relationship to a point where they've established that father-son connection. That's what the purpose of those episodes were, not necessarily to get Grogu trained as a Jedi. So go ahead.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm not saying that the comeback shouldn't have occurred. What I'm going to say is that if you're watching Paper Moon, or there's a few other stories that have similar beats, when the comeback occurs, it's almost immediately. Like the person gets in their ship and they go, and we're all sad for that moment, and because we've had the giveaway, we've lost our child figure, right? And there's no setup for the return, so it's a twist that surprises you. So they get in their ship and they look over there, or their car, their truck, and lo and behold, who's sitting there? The little girl that they thought was gone from their life forever, and they're like, oh, well, I guess we're staying together, and they drive off. And so the climatic what becomes the climax, them giving it away, is really the setup for the twist that occurs where they didn't lose them at all, that we have returned to the relationship. That didn't happen in Season 2. So now what we've had is an anti-climax, because we've set up this breakdown and removed that aspect of it, because what we had in this was really the culmination of that, and what we should have seen is when we actually shouldn't have seen the scene where he's given the choice. What should have happened is he goes and brings the armor, and he thinks, and so this would have been the culmination of really the real culmination of our Paper Moon, and he goes to get in his ship and fly away, and lo and behold, Grogu's inside of it. He's already made his decision. That would have been the same culmination of that, and we would pull that story beat to here. And so I think doing it the way they did it takes away that Paper Moon climax. So it's based on it, but you have removed the emotional aspect that occurs, and the way that by projecting everything, there's no emotional aspect. We've actually were robbed of that emotion.
Well, I think
I'm disappointed in.
Well, that's where else I'll say, okay, I somewhat agree, because I think that the way that Grogu returned in the midst of battle was awkward, right? That was awkward. Had it happened either at the end where he came and they had an emotional moment, right? You didn't get that at all, right? It was it just happened.
Right. I think there's a lot of things they could have done in the course of this, and I think whether it's done, like I said, in episode 5, 6, or or 6, I should say, or in this, or done at the end of chapter 2 or season 2 of of Mandalorian, or done at the end of this battle where he gets in his ship and boom, lo and behold, there's Grogu, and we're robbed of that emotional aspect, and I think. And I think that's the case. So I mean that's my take on that. And as far as the story beats, in my opinion, they missed the story beat that they should have hit when it comes to the Paper Moon.
Yeah, I'll agree with you in part there. Maybe disagree on how that would have played out better, but that it didn't play out as well as it could have. And I typically say that, or I generally say that with a lot of Star Wars, that hey, they could have done things a little differently, but they made the decisions they made, and I'm okay with it overall. And I see my friend Salacious Rum in the chat, and I was going to reach out to him because I saw in that vintage collection set you have the option of putting a Kwaki monkey lizard on the spit, and I'm sure that Salacious absolutely loves seeing a quack, monkey lizard on the spit.
Yeah, that's where it should be, on the
spit. He's got a great channel. He invited me to come over there and spend some time with him, and it was a lot of fun. So
it's no Paper Moon; it's a PlayStation, not Space Station.
You guys are great. So no, I think that they didn't necessarily execute or land it all that well, but I think along the way they were doing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun story beats in this, and I think you're right in enjoying it, and I don't think that anybody should be beat up for enjoying this season or this episode. I have my complaints, but I mean, I think overall it was fun, and my children both really enjoyed it. So I mean, that says a lot.
And I want to give a bit of a call out to my friend. Let me see, I see if I can get his chat back up here again, because
welcome Jedi Jen.
Yes, Jedi Jen, thank you. Another friend of ours. Let me see. I'm not sure I can find it. The Grey Council, Darth Lunga. Lunga was doing a show just before this, and really doing a good breakout of how story writing and all that. It was a fantastic show. Lunga, I appreciate the effort you put into doing that, and it's really, really good. So encourage you guys to go check out that as well. Let's see. And there are, so here, again, we're a little disjointed, but we shouldn't be giving each other a hard time. And you just mentioned it. Like, if you enjoyed it, you should be able to enjoy it in peace and be encouraged to enjoy it. And if you didn't enjoy it, you should be able to express those as well. And I know my dear friend Meg was taking some heat yesterday on her review, and I thought she did a great review. I don't agree with Meg on everything, but I love her. She's a great friend of mine. But Meg had to get off of socials yesterday because they were harassing her. All right, and it's
Uh,
just not right. It shouldn't have to be that way. We should be
no.
able to see things differently, and it's one of the thing in the Star Wars fandom. And Josh was kind of mentioning it this morning on Den of Nerds as well, that we need to be able to express these things in a constructive kind of way.
Yeah,
Not
I mean, let's say what we like and what we don't like, what we think would have made it better, and say, well, maybe it would have been better if they did that, or maybe it'd have been better if they did this, and then you get your opinion, and you go, oh yeah, I agree. I get to hear
sure.
your ideas, and go, yeah, you know what, you might be right on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's the fun, right?
it is the fun, and that's why we do this. That's why you and I started this collaboration together. It's why Meg and I do this collaboration together, and why my friend Jason Ward and I do this together. It's because we have such distinct and different points of view on these things. We can have these discussions in I think a more healthy way. So this is good. This is good. I will
say this.
Go ahead.
I discovered how much I like the music for the season. At the end of the episode, I was like, I listened to it really for the first time. I didn't know there was words. He goes, Fett, and I was like, oh, hey, they just said Fett, and then I was like, Boba, Boba, Boba. I was like, hey, they're just saying his name.
It's so good. It's so good. Well, and I want to mention again my friend Will Morgan. I love Will Meta Egg. He does great content, and he planted a seed that has been germinating and growing. Now that I'm over the Paper Moon thing, we got the payoff for that, and I do think there's some unfinished storytelling that needs to be done in that space. But at the same time, he planted to see the Lord of the Rings and got me going on that, because there's some imagery in this Book of Boba Fett season that lines up pretty well to Lord of the Rings, hobbits and the Shire and all of that. At the end of this episode, right before the finale, there's a bit in there where you can hear him playing the theme through like a whistle, a flute, and it sounds so Lord of the Rings. It really does sound good.
Absolutely.
And here we go, Star Wars Obsession. And I saw, Jeremy, you had another super chat as well. Star Wars Obsession, long-time listener, first-time caller. Oh, thanks so much, Star Wars Obsession. And I saw you on, I think, X-Wing's channel the other day. It says, I think show set up for future gathering assets for a war for Mandalore, Bo, Din, and Boba. Absolutely. We'll get to that as well. I think that we're definitely going to see Din go back to the living waters of Mandalore to be cleansed and brought back in to the fold. Yeah. I think that's happening. So thank you for the super chat.
I think there's something more to Tatooine. Here, I'm going to do some speculation here. So I think you got to ask yourself, what is so important about Tatooine? I mean, it is not overly populated. It is not, or it doesn't have a high population. So why would the spice trade be so active on Tatooine, and why would it be so much more important than the spice trade, say in Coruscant or any other city that's out there, right? So what's so important? You got to ask, this question has got to be asked. Can spice only be produced in the dry air of a desert planet? Is the water that's locked in the stone of Tatooine needed to produce the spice? Is there something that's about Tatooine? I think it's more than just a strategic point in the Outer Rim. I think there are plenty of places that they can go. It's on the edge of what was Hutt space. So I think it's much more than that.
I'm more with Trev. And I see Will Morgan is aligning with you, which is great. But I think because it's in the Outer Rim, it's not well traveled. They can go about their business there.
Nar Shaddaa is on a much Nar Shaddaa, which is a hub of this type of this kind of thing is in a much better hyperspace lane than Tatooine ever was.
I don't really care. I don't really care. I just think it's for the sake of the story. It's out there. It's not a popular place, and they could go about their business unsupervised. And then when it became, and what we saw in
there are millions of worlds like that in this.
Well, that's why the Pikes were pulling the plug, right?
More important.
The Pikes were told. The Pikes were told, you could do your business here in ease, and then they found out, oh, it's not so easy. We'll go somewhere else. I think that was in the story. So I think it was just because it was convenient, it was easy. We had a power vacuum. Things are drawn to a vacuum, and they went there thinking that
I think there's something more. I'm not saying it's the only world, but I think it's something. I think it's something more.
Perhaps could be.
I mean,
my goodness.
Obviously, there's spice elsewhere, but I mean, there's something about it. There's something more than just being a strategic location.
Thank you, Salacious Rum. You are a good monkey lizard yourself. Of monkey lizards, you're among the best. You guys, if you've not seen his channel, you guys should go check out the channel. It is a ton of fun over there. And I want to pick back up on what Will's talking about, because there's the obvious references to Dune, right? And I think that's where you're headed. You're like, okay, the Dune parallels are strong in this one, right? It could
I'm leaning toward that,
right? And I think that they've borrowed some. Well, they definitely leaned into it in this series, but at the end of the day, hard to say what else they're going to do with Tatooine going forward. Are we going to get a season 2 of Book of Boba Fett? What do you think on that? First of all,
I don't know. I think we're going to deal with this in Rangers of the New Republic. I think they decided to replace or rewrite the Rangers with Marshall Vance. I think that's what we're going to get, because I don't know if we got credit for the teasing of another season, but I think that when we saw in that after credit scene Cobb Vanth and the spoilers there, if y'all didn't know, that was Cobb Vanth in there, and inside the the back to the tank, that I think what they were spoiling is that was going to be the lead character in Rangers of the New Republic.
I think that's a safe bet, and that when we come back to Tatooine later, we now have Boba Fett established firmly as the kind of lord of that Daimo, right? He is firmly established in that, and Cobb Vanth is going to be a major player on the planet as well. So that's for sure. That's
I think that's where we're headed. I mean,
spice is bad. Space bananas are good, and brain lizards are even better. Oh, brain lizards! But brain lizards will help you see visions. You'll get visions for sure. And I'm with Will Morgan.
So I have one more complaint. I have one more complaint, and then I'm gonna be like, I loved everything else.
Okay.
So it's not actually true. I didn't love everything else, but I have only one real complaint, and I complained about it after I finished first seeing it, and so it actually has to do with those droids, and it's not the complaint you'll hear on anybody else. It's not the complaint that Thor made or anything. My main complaint is those guns were not strong enough. I was like, those are cannons. They should be blowing the houses apart.
Speaking of guns,
I was like,
yes. Speaking of guns that weren't powerful,
what the heck?
What about those Pikes blasters? They don't kill nothing.
I know. They didn't do nothing.
You can shoot people with them. It'll knock them down, but then they get up and they run away. That's
everybody. I mean, how many times did Chrysanthemum get shot? How many times?
Lots. And
I mean, I was like, holy crap, this guy's indestructible.
He's got some mods as well, right? That's a good fun. But with that,
I get it, but I'm just saying. I mean,
there were also some of the street the mod gang who were shot, and they go down, but then they're not there later. They get back up. They're they get back up and they run off because those Pike Syndicate guns just, or, blasters, they don't really have a kill mode on them. Like I said, it's like shooting,
it's everybody's guns. I mean, so who did they face? They're facing those darn it, I can't think of the Qualish. That's who they were facing, and they were like just shooting all day long. And I was like, well.
Well, it's like getting shot with a rubber bullet, right?
Everybody seems like they have like holdout blasters. It's like I was like, why does everybody have small little blasters? Everybody's running around with 22s.
Right. Well, they got rubber bullets, right? They'll leave a bruise for sure, right? They'll make you limp for a little bit because ow, son of a gun!
Stop shooting me with a BB gun. They're just BB guns.
Those rubber bullets really hurt. Right, that's a reason that the police use them as a deterrent. Right? They get you to comply. Right, they'll get you to go away. But they don't. They're typically non-lethal. That's the equivalent here. The Pikes and as you mentioned, those droids. Right, that droid was firing into that wall. It was putting pockmarks in the wall, but it wasn't blowing anything away.
No. I was just like, what the heck? I mean, that's a cannon. Those are two large cannons, And the funny thing is like, because I have some military. And I'm sure everybody won't be here, but I mean, the problem is that all of a sudden it brought me into real world. I saw the size of those guns. It brought me into real world, and I was like, we have technology in our world that would blow that is smaller than those things, that would blow these buildings apart, and so it just immediately took me out of the moment. Like I had to get myself re-immersed back into the story because of that. I mean, it was just one of those moments where I was just like, no, don't do this to me. Don't take me out of the moment.
So a couple of things on that. First of all, just a short break to ask, which do you prefer, Mod Vanth or Robo? What was it? Robo Vanth? Robo Vanth or
I like Mod Vanth better because it's like Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, Robo.
I like
Cobb,
Robo Cobb. That's a good one.
Robo Cobb or Mod Vanth. Robo Cobb or Mod Vanth.
Robo Cobb. I like Robo Cobb.
I like Mod Vanth. Mod Vanth is entertaining. I love it. Mod MOD Brent.
Well, no, they call them mods. That's what all the gang is called. The mod gang, right?
Right.
In real life, I like the RoboCop because of because of what it refers to in our.
Right.
It's a bit meta, I guess.
Well, sure, but Meg, I know what your jokes typically typically at my expense, but go right ahead. I really like Mod Vanth. For me, it's fun. But so look, for me, the season finale was a ton of fun, but it kind of caused some other problems that I was expecting to see pay off. Like the Tuskens. There was a little bit of a Tusken payoff.
Yeah, that was a letdown. I agree.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough. And when you spend roughly half of the season, a significant percentage of the season setting up the Tusken and explaining the Tusken plus you go back to Mando season 2 and tie in with the Tuskens there and everything, and then they don't show up. I mean, I think they're kind of setting up that the Tuskens are all dead, but they only killed one tribe, right? And there were supposedly many tribes. So what happened to the tribe that helped Freetown? Where were they? I just thought it was. I thought it was not a good enough payoff. So when I go look at the season as a whole, I think they put too much time on that. Right? That should have been shortened significantly.
No, I'm with you.
And then Then we could have included some other story beats, right? And and I hear a lot of people, right? Star Wars Satan here. Not today, Satan. But no, I see a lot of people divided on this. I see a lot of it, and by the way, Meg, that was a really good joke. That was a good joke. What do you call a Jedi with bad teeth? Brees Windu. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, that wouldn't have theorized endings are better than real. Well, a lot of people are upset. I saw there are tons of videos from Star Wars Theory all the way through you pick a channel. Jason went hot on them on Star Wars, making StarWars.net. They were really down on it. Of course, Lunga over at the Great Council, really negative on it. A lot of folks really, really upset. For me, I enjoy it a lot, but the fandom again is quite divided, right?
No, yeah. I think there's enough, at least YouTubers out there, that seem to have some disappointment in it. That says that, to me, says that the story wasn't what it probably should have been.
Well, and I want to go back to like saying that they hyped it as something different than what people perceived. And I want to touch base on the Robert Rodriguez bit. Look, director of Spy Kids, and again, Will Morgan pointed this out really early. And Spy Kids, a kids movie. And I was talking with my friend Mark Hamilton last night briefly. We had a call, and Rodriguez is let me say, there's some criticism says, well, Disney won't let them show death and kills and all that. I don't think that's true. We saw where Bryce Dallas Howard sliced a dude in half. We've seen even in this episode where they took the Ithorian and hung him, broke his neck, right? So I think all of that indicates that they could show it if they wanted to. The issue is more that Robert Rodriguez and the no kills, right? Like you were talking about the droid not having enough firepower. As I mentioned, the Pikes shooting rubber bullets, like all of that kind of thing just seems like he's not showing the amount of devastation that he could have shown or maybe should have shown,
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of carnage.
Right. And I think it's a Robert Rodriguez issue, not a Disney or Disney Plus issue. That's just my personal take on it. And I've seen a lot of people say, I've had enough of Robert Rodriguez directing Star Wars. No more, please. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I wasn't impressed.
Let's let Bryce and
I wasn't impressed by this episode.
Many of the others direct. Star Wars Theology. Hello. Another $5 super chat. Thank you for that. My son loved all the Grogu scenes, especially when Grogu jumped to Mando. It was very good. His rating was a 6.5 out of 10 on the finale. And may the force be with you. May the force be with you as well. Star Wars Theology. Thank you with that. Look, for me, I gave it a 9.5 to 10. And when I rewatched it, and with all of the things that it could have been or should have been, I still give it about that range, somewhere in the 9.5 range. Yeah. I think it was.
I would give my finale about a 7. A 7 on the finale.
Well, yeah, and I see a lot of people rating it really low. Yeah, it did, however, change my view when I was watching it. Again, I had a lot of fun watching this series every week, and I heard somebody bring this up where somebody was saying, I know who it was. It was Chillmonger, right? Every week he was excited to get up and watch the episode and see it. So it achieved those goals. But when I look back on it and I see all those episodes setting up the Tuscans, and I know they're not going to pay off, I have to lower the score that I initially gave them when I first watched it, because I think that now in the whole overall arc of things, those episodes aren't strong enough. So I lower some of those maybe to 6s and 7s, and for the whole season, I would give it about a 7.5, a 75 out of 100, a solid C. You know, I think it could have been better.
Yeah.
But not terrible.
I mean, I enjoyed the season overall. That's why I'm giving. I mean, it's funny. The episodes I enjoyed the most were the ones that I thought probably shouldn't have been there, and so that helped. But that's just it both lowers and raises. So I have an overall enjoyment for the series, but I lower it because I just think that there's just aspects of the story that were not handled well, and it lowers the overall where I'm at.
Yeah,
with the series.
This Boba's not supposed to be a good guy thing. I heard Hello Greedo. I did a live stream this morning as I was going to the vet to pick up our daughter's dog that just got spayed. So we're picking her up to bring her home, and I was listening to Hello Greedo, and this is one of the things I think that the series did really well, is explaining how Boba is now not the ruthless assassin bounty hunter that he once was. He addresses it directly in the season on at least a couple of occasions where they kind of.
I mean, I don't think they did. They did more tell than show, and I didn't like that.
Well, they did do a bit of telling. Let's see. I want to go back here to Astromech Jeremy's other super chat. This $5 super chat from earlier says, "To me, my criticism would be the season built cinematically, but wrapped like a TV series." And it is a TV series, and I think we kind of have to get used to getting our Star Wars content in a streaming format instead of a movie format. It's just a different medium, different kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think when he means, if I have some interpretation, and maybe I might be wrong. I think what he means by that is that you have this build up that you're going to have some finale payoff, aspect of things. But then because we have to have series coming up later that we keep people alive that if it had been a movie we would have killed. So we're losing dramatic payoff because we want to see them in later episodes.
Right.
I may be wrong, but I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm kind of getting caught up on the chat. Daniel Fisher, I love this. So Django Chained would be another title. Chained to Tatooine, right? Very funny. Very funny. Excellent job there, Daniel. I need to change pages. We're only to page. What page are we on? Page 3. We got 2 more pages of Wall of Fame to get through.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, quickly. So, look, they're moving to longer stories told over a longer period of time. If you add up the screen time, the actual story time, cut out the intros, cut out the end of the show credits, and just take the story time. This season of Boba Fett is well over average movie length, right? We're well over an hour and a half.
No, absolutely.
And if this were in an hour and a half movie, it would be rushed for one, and many of the story points that they put in the series wouldn't have been included because they would have had to condense it down. And I think a lot of people would prefer that.
I mean,
And
that's not what he's. I don't think he's referring
no,
to
what
it anyway. I
what I'm
don't think he's
saying
talking
is,
about the long story beats.
as we change to series, these things are going to be lengthened. They're going to include scenes that maybe seem unrelated or that drug the story down. Some people, complain that, well, it took too long. They spent too much time here. They did this. Well, that's because they have that time and they want to spread it out over multiple seasons, multiple series.
Yeah, I think the complaint is not so much that you have longer seasons or longer episodes. It's that what what you want is every episode, everything you're writing to have some sort of payoff. And even if it's a minor payoff, you won't. I mean, you don't want. I don't want to watch something that has nothing. It's just filler and has no payoff. I mean that's the aspect we're talking about. So like, even though like people complain, I'll go back to Rebels. They complained about, some of those episodes were filler episodes. Like they didn't have anything, but I disagree with those. They did have payoff. They have some aspects of learning a character. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't learn a character, but the whole point of learning a character is so that you have investment in them. So when something happens to them, you're like, holy crap, that was my favorite character, or I really like that character, and I don't like the way and when something happens to them, you're invested in it. So, but if it doesn't have that aspect, so like we get to know a character, and then something happens, and we're not given time to linger on something that happened, then all of what came before is actually wasted because you don't get to see and develop that and let whatever emotion is, whether it's a happy emotion or a sad emotion or an angry emotion, sink in. And since you have the time, then that's what you should be doing. But I think that the aspect what he's talking about with this is it was built up like a movie. And again, if I'm wrong, just say so. But I think what he's saying is that we had the time and we built up these different aspects, like in a movie where you're learning a character with a longer time, and then you don't have the payoff. It's paying off as if, oh, we know we have season 2, so we're not going to give you the payoff now. And so you're expecting the payoff, and then they like when you expect to have some losses, one of the things you said inside the prediction is any major character going to die, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and so that would be a payoff on an emotional investment in a character. And so when you don't have that because you're going, oh, we want to see where they're going to be next time because we have to keep them around because people like them, then what happens is you don't have that emotional payoff in that season. So you're like, oh, we're going to save that for something later when our ratings start going down.
Maybe. I want to. You made me think of something, and seeing Will Morgan's comment made me remember as well. This definitely we have this Favroni thing going on, right? The Favroni verse, Favreau Filoni storytelling in Star Wars that's happening all in this same time frame, right? Mando season 1, Mando season 2,
Right.
Book of Boba Fett, Mando season 3. We've got Ahsoka coming up. Perhaps we'll get Rangers of the New Republic. All this will be in this like Favroni verse era. Would it have been better to sell it as a different series connected through different stories, like an umbrella? Like you have, let's say, the High Republic era, right? Or you've got the Old Republic era. And in that, you've got books, you've got stories, you've got things going on, but it's all labeled, one thing, High Republic or Old Republic, right?
Right.
Would this have been better served with Mando 1, Mando 2, and Book of Boba Fett of having an umbrella that it falls under, that it's on the actual label, And what would that be?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, could have been the Tatooine series or whatever. Could have been the Grogu series, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's but I mean, it's I mean, I guess, I mean, you could have had the I don't know, the interim series, the interregnum in between the wars. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. It's a post Empire, right? Like it's pre First Order, post Empire. It's in that gap, right?
That's why I said interregnum, in between the wars.
And I want to address something that Will Morgan and I mentioned he's kind of planted this Lord of the Rings concept in my head, and there you had one villain, Sauron, right? And as you go through those, you've got the story of the hobbits, you got the story of the One Ring, you've got all kinds of things going on. Is there enough to put that through together with these stories with Din and Grogu, the Darksaber, and reclamation of Mandalore? Does Mandalore equate to oh shoot, what's Sauron's world? What's that? What's behind the gate there?
The Mordor?
Mordor. Yeah. Is Mandalore Mordor? Does all that kind of work? And are they building it up appropriately? So here, like you've got the story, but people aren't really invested in the journey, right? You talk about the journey. It reminds me back of that as well, like where we've got all of these. Right, they're returning the ring to Mordor to burn it, to all of this, right? Do we?
Right.
I don't think they're building that story up well enough, and a lot of people are talking about, well, who's the big bad in this episode, in this season of the Book of Boba Fett? The big bad, there is no big bad, although they hinted at a big bad. We don't get a big bad, right?
Right. I will say this: I was right about the Pikes, though.
Yeah,
I was right about
yeah.
the Pikes. Yeah. Setting up the biker gang, and that they were the ones that killed them. So I was like, well,
yeah,
very anticlimactic way to find out, but at least we found out.
I kind of want to double down on what Will and what Trev are saying. They're not making the journey compelling enough. Like there's a concept. They seem to be kind of doing that, and we even had a bit of a Helm's Deep kind of moment in that finale. But none of it really paid off. It wasn't building. Like they're not. There is a plan. You could tell there's a plan. There's something they're pushing towards, and they've got a writing room for sure. And John and Dave are creating some great Star Wars, but there's some pieces missing. Yeah, I agree. Have to agree with that.
I think if that had been a Helm's Deep with the, the way that I would have had that whole battle play out is I'm okay with them going into the town as it begins, but once they realize they're betrayed, that they withdraw to the palace, and so then we see everything going wrong in the palace, and they're getting overrun, and now they're fighting three houses and the Pikes, and so they have this massive army with their droids and their stuff that look like trolls, or they're effectively are trolls and are stuff coming up on them, and then we have this fight at the palace, and now Boba's palace, and then who rides over the hill? Boba says, I haven't. Boba's out there fighting them with the thing. Din Djarin then has the idea. He says, I don't know who we can get, and he says, to Din Djarin, go get these people, and he goes, just tell them that you're with me, and then they come riding over the hill. We have our final battle, and that would have been the Helm's Deep all over, and would have been like,
exactly.
So you'd have had your payoff with your
exactly
with your sand people.
Exactly. A Star Wars obsession. Yes. Send me a message in Discord. Send me a message through a DM in Twitter, or find me my email address and all that in my channel. You can send me an email. And I would love to talk with you some point. And Will Morgan pointed this out to me yesterday. If you look at Cad Bane and the way he talks, and his facial structure, very similar to the mouth of Sauron. Like if you've seen that, right?
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. And Trev's absolutely right here on. We don't have where I got to go back to Trev's right. We aren't seeing Sauron's eye. We aren't seeing that menace. We're not seeing that threat. what is that? We don't know. We haven't seen it. It's just off a screen and it's beyond our sight. And I it's a missed opportunity again. And I keep saying that about Star Wars late. I said that with the Rise of Skywalker, some missed opportunities. I'm saying that here. There's some missed opportunities. Doesn't mean I'm disliking it. Right. I just think I could have liked it better. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where we're at with a lot of stuff, and it's kind of unfortunate actually that we're having, this occur this way, and that we're missing, some aspects and places where they're not what's the word I'm looking for, paying off and missing these opportunities.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely true, and but yeah, but to answer the Cad Bane being Clint Eastwood, no, he's actually Eli Wallach. I think that's how you say his name.
Well, he's a mix.
Which is the
yeah, you're right.
It's either him or Lee Van Cleef.
Yeah,
Lee Van Cleef. That's who he was actually.
Lee Van Cleef.
Lee Van Cleef.
He reminds me a ton of Clint Eastwood, right? He's definitely got that kind of vibe to him as well. And I agree with Meg.
But his hat is like Lee Van Cleef's.
Well, I think I agree with Meg here. Thrawn, I don't think he's evil. He may be a chaotic neutral or something like that. I think what they should have done, and I know this will trigger some people, but we should see the ISR on. That should be Palpatine. That should be Palpatine. We see him come back in the sequels. We know he's out there. He's out there on in the unknown regions. It's set up perfectly on Exegol. Like if they were hearing, like you see through those seeing stones, right? They keep getting Sauron through and he's like mind manipulating people through those seeing stones. You could definitely, you could definitely have Palpatine doing the same sort of thing as the big bad, leading up to the sequels where he's the big bad reveal. You absolutely could have had Snoke brought in. You could have had him as one of those seers, much like the wizard that turned bad. I'm going blank on my Lord of the Rings. Saruman. Yeah. Saruman. You could have had all of those kind of things. And the parallels are there, but again, they're just not being executed or drawn out enough.
Right.
So that's where I am on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to bring Snoke in if you're going to try to build up the villainy of for him in the sequel trilogy, and you're going to have to see him being manipulated and controlled by Palpatine through like whispers and shadows and stuff like that, so that we get this hint to build up what's occurring.
Yep.
But yeah, I think you're definitely going to have to do that. You got to build that up.
Yep. All right. Well, we've gone long. And
it's becoming our norm now. It seems like
it really is. I think we're on to something here, and look forward to our continuing discussions. And the folks in the chat, you guys are doing a fantastic job. Love all of you all. You're doing wonderful. Hope to be able to talk to Meg tomorrow, Star Wars Meg, and break down some of the news of the week. Expect Jason Ward to go live at the top of the hour and share some of the latest breaking news there as well. And so the article that he published today on the Kenobi series. Jason Ward's got some news there that he's writing and sharing. So that's all good stuff. So we're gonna close out today. There is one more Mike Porter dad joke. I told you guys we were behind, so I've got to bring it up here. Mike Porter dad joke of the day for today. Did you know that the bounty hunter Fett loves? Did you know that the bounty hunter Fett loves at the local fair? Do you know that the bounty hunter Fett loves the local fair. He loves the local fair. Boba Fett loves the county fair. Wow, this is tough.
Well, you
Yeah,
just told this bad. Do you know
yeah,
the
I know.
bounty hunter Fett? You know what? You know what?
Do you
he
know
loves?
why?
The bounty hunter
It,
Fett really
yeah,
loves. Oh, it's just or what
it,
he loves or
it's
why he
missing.
loves the local
It's
fair.
missing the word why. Do you know
It's missing. It's
why?
missing. Oh
Do you know why Boba Fett loves the local fair? Do you know why Boba Fett loves the local fair? He loves the boba for apples. Oh,
yeah.
oh my goodness, that took some effort. Mike Porter, we're gonna have to
Yes,
work on that one.
that was much harder to work.
We're gonna have to
Much
work on that
harder
one,
than it
Mike.
should have been.
So, you got a Magic Maker. Any last words here as we close out?
Well, all I have to say is thank you all for a great season of Book of Boba Fett, and may the Force be with you.
And thank you all so much for being here. And Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye bye.